What is up, guys? Welcome into the transparency. What is good? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in, guys. Check this out. I said, hell yeah. Check this out. Ready? I'll give it some time to. Let me just go like this. Okay, so these are the stairs. You're gonna see in a second. Back there's Steptoe Apartments. These are the stairs that go up right here. Boom. Okay. You guys see where we're at right now? You see this shit? Okay. Then there's, look at this. When you zoom in, there's another set of stairs to go up like that. And back over there is where we believe the snipers parked their vehicles that night for the whole Brent Kapaka shootout. All right, so again, down here, those stairs, so right down here is where you park in the parking lot of Steptoe or Coffee House Apartments, back in that back lot. And then they have these stairs that then go up to Main. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So this is right there. All right. I got more. It's a 3-minute walk. Okay. So, because I'm putting together this timeline of this alleged, we were in a location, then we want to relocate so that we can, get a better aim on Brent. Then he talks about that he went to his car, the sniper and the sniper lookout, and they wanted to put their car closer. Everything I was talking about last night. So okay. Again, what's up? What's up? What's up? Come on in, guys. Don't be scared. Come on in. Come on in. It's 9:00 on the West Coast, man. It's perfect. Get yourself something. Get yourself a tea. All right, now here's another thing I have for you. And then we're going to get it all into John Benny Ramsey, his parent or dad. He said that they solved this case within 2 weeks. Excuse me? Arrest within 7 weeks. So, interesting though. All right, let me do this really quick. Again, hello to everybody. I'll send something over to my email. Good morning to the mods, members. Lana, come on in, guys. Just want to give a shout out to Drip Drop, making me feel special. Look out. Thanks, bro. Let's see. Okay. All right. Here you go. The army's growing. All right, so this is across the way. All right, this is like, here you go, coffee house. I always thought that they were doing stuff down around here when they would take like these media shots, but they're not. They'd have like, they were actually always up top. So it is a loop around. So the armored vehicle was over here parked right under Brent, his room, but those are the stairs right there. Okay. And it does like a loop around. And I said, I want to see some stuff. So, it's 5 p.m. in Scotland. Nice. Chucky Boy had more shout outs, Lana. I've been digging. Yeah, there you go. Oh, wait. I want to do something with that really quick. Hold on. What a dump. Again, one more time here. So this is it from the Latah. So down here. Okay, so the apartments that I've shown you guys, that sample one, that was from room 108. Okay, and it's 100% of a sample that's from this side. Okay. So you have, let me see here. It's 60 people can live here. That's who was living here, 60 people. We're going to go up those stairs. Those stairs are where the first video was. Right there. Back up just a tad. Interesting. All right, we're going to use the last one because you can see it a little better. All right, if it's the same layout though, that window right there, that's going to be your living room window, that balcony. I'm just using this for purposes of that. And then that's a bedroom right there. And then is there a... right there. So that's your... bedroom. I wonder if they're on the opposite sides. Lease it, baby. Lease it. Those are storage units, by the way. Those little rolly things. Maintenance guy. Yeah. All right. Again, welcome to the transparency. Morning, morning. Mikasa e sukasa. Come on in. Come on in. Next up. What is up, boy? I see you there. I see you. Hold on. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for everything you do. No, thank you for everything you do. Thank you. Come on in, guys. Come on, get your bottles of vodka. Let's go. Come on. I'm a little under the weather, but got some more goods. All right, next up. We're timing stuff. We are taking steps because eventually I believe that more stuff's going to come out once everybody's digital stuff comes out. And so I want steps down. I want it all. I want it all. All right, let's go to this. Now, back over here at the house, I want to take a look at something else. Okay. So, boom, boom. This is just yesterday. Because this is the time of year. Well, this is how the trees, you know what I mean? We're approaching, what are we at here? October, what are we at? 25th. So we got November, 12th and the 13th. This is how the trees, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to take a look at it. This is just 3 weeks, before? Now check this out. There is a bright green Hyundai Elantra right there. Look at that. Wait for it. Who painted their white Hyundai Elantra bright green? I'm just curious. That is a bright green Hyundai Elantra. I want to know who painted their white Hyundai Elantra green. Just kidding. All right, so let's see. All right, next up. All right. All right, here we go. Right there. That board, that's the slider right there. Where the board is. Looks like it's almost brick, but that's the board. Okay. Again, this is 3 weeks before, like last year. This is what it would have looked like 3 weeks before. If you're casing your joint, okay, case in the place. And then right there, you can see the house. That's Walenta out in front of it then. You can kind of see right there, a little piece through it to the street right there. Oh, there we go. Car going down. It's just tight, you guys. It's super tight. Hi, Enon. Hi. There he is. Oh, shit. Oh my God, Lana B. Shake the room. It's super tight. All right, so then I want to show you something else. Oh wait, I already did that one. Oh wait. 6, 6, 6, 8. 7. Okay, here we go. All right. Who went out and painted their white Hyundai Elantra? I am just wondering. Okay. Hi, Enon. Okay. Y'all, these are on top of each other. Okay. It's quiet as F around there. Everyone is on top of each other. This would have been what it looked like. There you go. Think about that music just blasting. Just a tunnel, just a bowl. Again, this had been like 3 weeks before the murders. That's what it would have looked like as far as it being that time of year and things like that. But okay, let me remove that. Let me go back over to Steptoe, or not Steptoe, but to the coffee house peeps. What do I got here? Oh yeah, money. There's 2 staircases on the back side of the property. Left one, right one. I want the right one. Okay, money. Yes. Okay. All right. Give me that video. I'm going to share something else with you guys. Yes, thank you. Get over to Tokyo now. Tokyo Seoul. Get me some sushi. All right, here we go. Let's back this up a second. All right, saddle up. Here we go. Boom. Okay, that's what it would sound like if someone's running. You hear that? Okay, so listen. All right, back this up a little bit. Okay, these aren't like hallways, guys. There's nobody gonna be like running down the hallway. All right, the way these are separated. I'm gonna show you what I mean by that. But listen for like what it would sound like if someone's running up the stairs. Now, granted, there you go. Okay, check it out. Boom, 305. Holy shit. Boom, 311. Look at how narrow that is. Look at how tight that is. And what do you guys can't fly a drone in there? What number was that one? 304. Weird. Yeah. Damn. Octagon down at the end. 302. What was that number? 3 what? 321. Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. We're doing this in real time. Just so you guys know, this is all happening in real time. All right, so all right, let me do this one more time like this. All right, yeah, this is Coffee House Apartments. This is where Brent was shot. I just wanted to see how loud it was, like running and stuff like that. One more time. Okay, so this is going to be 305 on the left here, right there. That's 305. That's where SWAT was set up. Command room was right there. And then he's right there. So they're right, that's a tight ass hallway. That's so tight in there. If you're in one of these stairwells, which would be this one, is back it up later a second. Yeah, that whole way down. That's 311. So that whole all the way going down there, that's all going to be that apartment. And so they were in the stairwell here. Okay. Right there. And they're basically going to put him into that bedroom that's right here. Okay, so let me go take a look at that. Again, I'm doing this all in real time, so I don't get what she's pointing out. Someone please explain. What I'm pointing out is that how loud, running up the stairs is. I wanted to see where the rooms were. So there would be no use for a drone in that hallway for what to see what. Yeah, how do you fly? So think about this. How do you get the drone in? Like, how open was the door to be able to fly the drone? You know what I mean? In. So I'm guessing that the chair had it open, a decent amount so that you could like fly it in there. And could the reason that Brent would be like shooting in, I mean, if he has the door shut to the bedroom that he was in, he wouldn't see a drone to be like shooting at it to shoot it down or something like that. Yeah, I am going to ask. I am going to ask that no talking about other creators in chat, because I agree. Say what you want about anybody, but JLR is always on the ground. Doesn't matter what his opinion is. He puts work in, and period. So please, I will be blocking those comments. And I won't police the chat either. So where does a drone come in? I made it so that no audio is coming from the video. Yeah, there's audio. But so it's let me go back to this again. Oopsies. All right. All right, moving on. So that was just something that I wanted to say quickly about any of that. To show some of that. Let's talk about it. So I don't know if you guys saw, but Ramsey, John Ramsey came out and said that Moscow Police Department solved this case, the Idaho4 case, within 2 weeks. So do your math. The 13 plus 14 is the 27th. Okay. But he says, that this case was solved within 2 weeks and that there was an arrest within 7. So I was thinking about that. And I said to myself, how in the world does John Ramsey know this? Or where is he getting this information from? And then I remembered that Mr. John Ramsey has an amazing relationship with a lot of federal agents due to his daughter's case and the years that they were under the microscope. But he compared Boulder to Moscow, okay, and was saying that, when this came out, so I'm going to pull up the article. It was an OK magazine. And it says, John May Ramsey's father praises Idaho police for working with the FBI to solve horrific quadruple murder. This is how you do it. Okay. And he says John Ramsey repeatedly criticized Boulder, Colorado police for their investigation of his daughter's unsolved murder. But the 79-year-old is heaping praise on the way that the local authorities handled the brutal killings of the 4 University of Idaho students. He goes on to say that when I first heard about the Moscow case, I looked how big the town was and thought, oh boy, here comes another Boulder. It looked like another inexperienced small police department. Well, it is. The chief of police came up and said, this is our investigation. And I thought, again, this doesn't look good. He admitted, but he brought in everybody he could get his hands on right away. He had 40 FBI agents on site. He had the state police, and they had it solved within a few weeks. Excuse me? Then he says, suspect Brian Koberger was arrested 7 weeks later. Or that's just what OK Magazine says. But he said right here that they had it solved, and had it solved within a few weeks. Okay. I said to myself, well, what in the world's going on here? I mean, what does John Ramsey know about anything about this case? There's a gag order on this case, right? Well, there wasn't until it was, somebody got arrested, right? So what do we think about that? I was like, a couple weeks. Wow. Now, maybe he's thinking that 7 weeks is a couple weeks. I don't know. Maybe people need to work on their lingo to saying, oh, they had it solved within a couple weeks. I personally don't think that that's the case. Like I said, I believe that John Ramsey has and knows people because of everything that he's gone and went through with his daughter, that I'm sure he just probably asked somebody. But the better question for me is, hold on while I laugh a little bit, because this just doesn't make sense. Did John call up OK Magazine and say, hey, I have some information I would like to talk about? Like, or did OK call him and be like, hey, so I heard you had some insider info? Like, wait, what? Like, how did this even happen? How did this article come about that we're going to go talk to John Benet Ramsey's dad and ask him what he thinks about, the investigation? So, I was baffled when I saw that. And I was like, you know what? To say that they had this solved in a couple weeks, that's interesting, because he's right. They had their guy within a couple weeks. So the intel that he had, he's not wrong. Think about it. 2 weeks, 11/13. Add 14 days onto that, it's 11/27. Think about that. Isn't that wild? And then remember, like, Star Magazine came out with a cover before an arrest was made, saying that there was an arrest made? Then why wait to arrest him? Well, because they had to build the case. They spent that time putting it all together. Normally it's just the opposite way, you know? Normally you're not given the name first, okay, and then, okay, here, make it fit. It's normally the opposite way. You build a case first, and then it comes out, to a suspect. Um, but this is a guy that is, Brian Koberger. Like, he's not one of their friends. These people don't know him. Wait, he was living in Pennsylvania. Wait, he's a PhD student. But I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, that's just the damnedest thing, because JonBenét Ramsey's dad's right. So how does he know this? How does he know this? Because anybody that's looking out at it from an outsider's, if you're just, watching your mainstream media, oh wow, they arrested somebody, but no, here he wants to say that no, Moscow Police Department, they had an arrest, like they knew who did this in a couple weeks. Well, that was interesting. That was very interesting. And then I just was like, how does it even come out? Like, how does somebody with, I guess he has connections with then the tabloids too then. So he's got connections to law enforcement, and he's got connections to the tabloids. So he was just like, oh, I'll just go ahead and, just interesting. So like, we can't have, police talk or with the gag order, but here, JonBenét Ramsey's dad, he can go out and say something that basically I believe that he would have got from law enforcement. Or otherwise, I wouldn't even be, he's 80 years old. It's just odd to me. Anyways, welcome to Truth and Transparency. So I wonder if Mr. Ramsey wants to take on the same way that they went ahead and got, Brian Koberger. Maybe he wants to talk to the people that got to his name through IGG and do that for his daughter's case. Just saying. Because that's where I would think that this would eventually lead to, right? You'd be interested in the case if it could help you solve like your daughter's case. Because to the family, it should be that this case is unsolved. Maybe to the world, people have their own opinions, but to him, it'd be an unsolved case.
You're on a push to have the governor remove this case from the Boulder PD and let these sophisticated DNA labs have access to this, as opposed to relying on the same cops and detectives that have blown it thus far. There are really sophisticated DNA labs. Do you have confidence that if they had access to this box, for lack of a better descriptor, they could make whatever progress is possible, they could make it?
And that's really all we're asking the governor to do, is push the case either out of the Boulder hands or require them to take this evidence, be tested by one or two really cutting edge labs in this country, and see what we get. If we can get some more good DNA evidence, then you take that evidence and put it in the public database and see what you come up with.
Yes.
This has been done in the last few years with remarkable success. And really what got me, had me in my mind take the gloves off with the police is we had spent some time with the regional FBI folks there in Denver and got a relationship where we said, look, this is what needs to happen. And in fact, they're the ones that said, look, the government does not have the latest DNA technology. We'll get it eventually, but we don't have it. We don't have it at the FBI. They certainly don't have it at the state level, and of course, not even ridiculous to think they have it at the police level. They told us that we've got to get this DNA testing done by one or two very cutting edge labs outside, and then use this new approach of genealogy tracing. And there's a hope that would move this case along to conclusion. They went to the Boulder Police and we're here to help. We'd like to make this happen. We'd help you. You can take all the credit. And the Boulder Police blew them off. Said, no, we don't need your help. And that was the game's over as far as I'm concerned. We got to start.
When was that? How long ago?
Oh, it's probably 6 months ago.
They're just so people know. I had this woman on my show at NBC, CC Moore is her name, and I know you must have talked to her. She's the one who was really at the center of this genealogy research. And what they do is they take a piece of DNA, and we already know that the DNA that they found on JonBenet did not produce a hit in the databases that are available, at least as of the last time they told us. Yep. So the perpetrator had not gone into the system yet, but they don't need that. Mm-hmm. All they need is for somebody related to the perpetrator to be in the DNA system. So if I were in the DNA system, let's say I wanted to do 23andMe, let's see what my ancestry is, whatever. Then if
You guys, this interview was done December 13th, 2022. Do you understand that JonBenet Ramsey's dad already knew that IGG had solved the Idaho4 case? Do you understand this? Holy shit. This is the same day that they put out what was it? Yeah. December 13th. This was the same day that the white Hyundai Elantra miraculously comes up at the gas station. You guys understand this? Okay. This is JonBenet Ramsey's dad talking to
results got uploaded
Megyn
on this
Kelly.
other website that CC Moore uses that a lot of people who upload their DNA results use because you get more information from it. It's not 23andMe, it's something related. So let's say they're sitting there. She can access them. She may not, she can see a lot of things on there. And let's say I have a relative who commits a crime.
Oh.
That relative's DNA was not going to pop up. Like maybe they committed a crime, but the crime scene, they didn't see him because he hadn't been arrested yet. But mine will. And This is what CC Moore, she's like, all I can tell you is that Megyn Kelly is related to this killer. And so I'm going to build this big family tree around Megyn Kelly. I'm going to figure out who her grandfather, what great-grandfather, look at her husband's side. I'm going to look at, because all this stuff is publicly available. She looks at their wedding announcements and birth announcements. It's crazy great detective work. Yes, and she gets her man. I mean, CC Moore is like, they solve a case a week doing this. And so if we could take a fresh look at the JonBenet DNA, from that,
they solve a case a week doing this. This is on December 13th. Okay. You can't upload DNA profiles to 23andMe. You can only provide a sample to them to be tested. You can download your own profile. They have it all backwards, but you guys need to hear this. You don't understand. Okay. JonBenet Ramsey's dad comes out. OK Magazine did that's the only reason I went ahead and looked at this, because I was like, what the hell is JonBenet Ramsey's dad talking about? That this was solved in a couple weeks. I said, that's funny because that's what my investigation says, that this was solved in their eyes, but they had to build their case. And I said, well, let's look into JonBenet Ramsey's dad. What's he been up to? Oh, just fucking kicking it with, the FBI and the regional peeps and talking about all this IGG stuff. And, oh, would you know it, that he knew that it was solved way before the arrest and yada, yada, yada. Then he comes out December 13th, does this interview.
Perspective, right. Even if the guy's never gotten into the system from the last time they tested it, somebody might be in the system that could lead us to him.
That's right. The COVID system that the FBI uses, the federal database of criminals or arrested felons, is fairly small. And the states can contribute or not to that database. It takes 9 markers out of 15 to be accepted in the database, but it's of people that have already been found criminal or at least arrested for felonies. And it depends on the state what that rule is, but it's not a very big database. And what the public,
He's saying that CODIS isn't that big of a database, okay? All right, and there's way bigger databases, okay?
database of the 23andMe. Anyway, both Jan and I submitted our $35. Get our
Both Jan and I, you know who he's talking about, right? You know who Jan is.
ancestry to that database. They find a reasonably, close match or something at least is of interest, and they do almost a backwards family tree.
Backwards family tree. You hear that? Backwards. Kind of like a backwards investigation.
I know. Hey, here's a relative that lived in Boulder in December 1996, and then they start looking at that guy or that person and get his DNA, and these remarkable success solutions to these old cases have been using that technique. And most.
Do you hear how he said these old cases? These old cases. Yeah, cold cases. 100%. Cold cases.
These people were not on anybody's radar. They weren't in the COVID or the federal database. And the Golden State Killer, which was, I think, the first one found this way, was a 40-year-old case,
Yep.
and he was a retared cop, so he wasn't in the criminal database.
Exactly.
But it's a
But a
remarkable
relative
technique.
was.
And that's what we're asking the governor to make happen. I don't care how it happens. That's what has to happen.
And now what he's saying, John, is, well, he doesn't say anything as I understand it. But the
No.
Boulder PD, they're like, hey, we have great news. We're now going to refer this case to the cold case unit. And the cold case unit, we believe, is going to do better than the other case unit. Why?
Don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of this cold case unit. Why? And they said we're going to refer to them next year. Well, that could be 12 months from now. But I guess you say, well, it's no big rush. It's been 26 years. What's the hurry? And it's a huge frustration for us. And
Do you believe that's is that just cover? Is that a CYA?
Yeah, absolutely. That was put out before I even released the governor's letter, which I only released because he never responded. I thought I would have at least expected to say, yeah, we'll take a look at it. Or I received your letter. Did nothing.
Still hasn't responded?
No.
Oh.
And
we're going to follow up with him.
I'm not asking him to, apologize to us for the faulty performance of the Colorado justice system. I don't want that. I just want to do the right thing. This is what can be done. You need to do it.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to follow up with his office and find out what is his response. And we'll stay on it, and we'll annoy him to the point where he's going to have to respond. Because I know a lot of people in media who would be very happy to help me annoy him.
I would love
John,
that.
It's the Christmas and holiday season, and it is time for gift.
Alrighty. So there you have it. Okay. So JonBenet Ramsey's dad knows that this case was solved just within a couple weeks. And in the beginning, he says in this interview that he has a relationship with the regional FBI.
And there's a hope that would move this case along to conclusion. They went to the Boulder police and we're here to help. We'd like to make this happen. We'd help you. You can take all the credit. And the Boulder police blew him off. Said, no, we don't need your help. And that was the game's over as far as I'm concerned. We got to start.
When was that? How long ago?
Oh, it's probably 6 months ago.
They're just so people know. I had this
6 months prior to this interview, which would have been like in August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, like July, June, July. So the same time that Brian Kohlberger, was making his way across town to Washington, the FBI went to Boulder and said, hey, as well as like other people with the IGG community, and said, we will, we can help you with this. Do you want our help? And that's what he's referring to. But that would have happened 6 months prior to this interview he signed. So I just want to back up and listen to this part again.
database and see what you come up with.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they could make it.
And that's really all we're asking the governor to do is push the case either out of the Boulder hands or require them to take this evidence to be tested by one or two really cutting edge labs in this country and see what we get. If we can get some more good DNA evidence, then you take that evidence and put it in the public database and see what you come up with.
Yes.
This has been done in the last few years with remarkable success. And really what got me, had me in my mind take the gloves off with the police is we had spent some time with the regional FBI folks there in Denver and got a relationship where we said, look, this is what needs to happen. And in fact, they're the ones that said, look, the government does not have.
Got a relationship. There you go. So I always prove my work.
The latest DNA technology. We'll get it eventually, but we don't have it. We don't have it at the FBI. They certainly don't have it at the state level. And of course, not even ridiculous to think they have it at the police level. They told us that we got to get this DNA testing done by one or two very cutting edge labs outside, and then use this new approach of genealogy tracing. And there's a hope that would move this case along to conclusion. They went to the Boulder police and we're here to help. We'd like to make this happen. We'd help you. You can take all the credit. And the Boulder police blew them off. Said, no, we don't need your help. And that was the game's over as far as I'm concerned.
So then, basically he's saying that Moscow Police Department accepted the help of the FBI, okay, and the way that they wanted to operate and do things. Where Boulder didn't do that for him.
When was that? How long ago?
Oh, it's probably 6 months ago.
Just so people know, I had this woman on my show at NBC. CeCe Moore is her name, and I know you must have talked to her. She's the one who was really at the center of this genealogy research. And what they do is they take a piece of DNA, and we already know that the DNA that they found on John Bonet did not produce a hit in the databases that are available, at least as of the last time they told us. Yep. So the perpetrator had not gone into the system yet, but they don't need that. Mm-hmm. All they need is for somebody related to the perpetrator to be in the DNA system. So if I were in the DNA system,
legally, yes, legally.
Tim, let's say I wanted to do 23andMe. Let's see what my ancestry is, whatever. Then if she
gave a horrible example there because 23andMe, I don't believe you're allowed to use any part of 23andMe. Thank you.
Results got uploaded on this other website that CeCe Moore uses that a lot
Gedmatch.
of people who upload the DNA results use
Gedmatch.
to get more information from it. It's not 23andMe, it's something related. So let's say they're sitting there. She can access them. She may not, she can see a lot of things on there. And let's say you have a relative who commits a crime. That relative's DNA was not going to pop up.
So let me get this straight. Kaylee's dad is talking about this. Okay. John Bonet Ramsey's dad's talking about this. Everybody's talking about this. And interesting.
Like maybe they committed a crime, but the crime scene, they didn't see him because he hadn't been arrested yet. But mine will. And This is what CeCe Moore, she's like, all I can tell you is that Megyn Kelly is related to this killer. And so I'm going to build this big family tree around Megyn Kelly. I'm going to figure out who her grandfather, what great-grandfather, look at her husband's side. I'm going to look at, because all this stuff is publicly available. She looks through wedding announcements and birth announcements.
Yes. And how long do you think that takes, Megyn Kelly? How long do you think that takes? How long does it take to get to even, get to the point that you even have a DNA profile to, upload and go ahead and start your search?
It's crazy great detective work. Yes, and she gets she gets her man. I mean, Cece Moore's like, they solve a case a week doing this.
Yeah, she gets her man illegally. I shouldn't say illegally. Unethically is the correct term. Oh yeah, they get their peeps unethically as fuck, but they get them. So,
and so if we could take a fresh look at the John Bonet DNA from that perspective,
Right.
Even if the guy's never gotten into the system from the last time they tested it, somebody might be in the system that could lead us to him.
That's right. The COVID system that the FBI uses, the federal database of criminals or arrested felons, is fairly small. And the states can contribute or not to that database. It takes 9 markers out of 15 to be accepted in the database, but it's of people that have already been found criminal, or at least arrested for felonies. And it depends on the state what that rule is, but it's not a very big database. And what the public database of the 23andMe, the way both Jan and I submitted our $35, get our ancestry to that database. They find a reasonably, close match, or something at least is of interest, and they do almost a backwards family tree.
God, I love that you said backwards, Mr. Ramsey. Like, God, that was just chef's kiss for me. Backwards. Yep.
And then they find, hey, here's a relative that lived in Boulder in December 1996. And then they start looking at that guy or that person and get his DNA. And these remarkable success solutions to these old cases have been using that technique. And most of these people were not on anybody's radar. They weren't in the COVID or the federal database. And in fact, the Golden State Killer,
the Golden State Killer. Yep. Again, that was definitely, go read the book, The Golden State Killer. She says, yeah, we unethically found the killer because we opted into profiles that were opted out of law enforcement. She says it in her book. He didn't mean to say COVID. He meant to say CODIS.
I think the first one found this way was a 40-year-old case, and he was a retired cop, so he wasn't in the criminal database.
Exactly, but a relative was.
So the Golden State Killer was a retired cop, and people wonder why I question police officers. Oh, Jesus. My snack of choice, by the way, is hamburger dill pickle chips.
And that's what we're asking the governor to make happen. I don't care how it happens. That's what has to happen. And
now what he's saying, John, is, well, he doesn't say anything as I understand it. But the Boulder PD, they're like, hey, we have great news. We're now going to refer this case to the cold case unit. And the cold case unit, we believe, is going to do better than the other case unit. Why?
Well, because it's a new fresh eyes. I mean, I would actually want that. I would welcome that. Get it out of the hands of whoever the fuck it's in right now. Megyn Kelly, are you kidding me? Because they're not doing anything with it. So yeah, please give it to fucking a homeless guy for all I give a shit. Get it the fuck out of their hands because they've fucked it up. So yeah, the cold case, those are new fresh eyes. Shit. But all this man seems that he wants is he wants the DNA. So he wants the sample. He wants the DNA profile of whatever the DNA was there. That's what he wants. It's all he needs is you need the profile. If you have the DNA profile, then you go and you upload it. So, but maybe there's other stuff that has DNA that hasn't been tested. Maybe they can test some stuff. But from my understanding, with all that he needs, if he wants to upload it to a site that CC Moore and co do, you would just need that profile. So, it's 27 years old. I would consider it a cold case. And this is when genealogy is supposed to come into play. Like, this is actually when you use it for like these type of situations. They used genealogy and that tool in the Brian Koberger Idaho4 case immediately. You understand that? You understand that they didn't even investigate within that core group. That's the most ass, like that's backwards as F, but and then if you're gonna do it with the sheath, why aren't you doing it with the other unknowns? And then also I just want to see, I want to know if that sheath was on the body cams. I just think that it would have been in the probable cause. I think that they would have stated it. I don't think it was.
Don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of this cold case unit. Why they said we're going to refer to them next year? Well, that could be 12 months from now. But I guess you say, well, it's no big rush. It's been 26 years. What's the hurry? And it's a huge frustration for us. And
Do you believe that's is that just cover? Is that a CYA?
Yeah, absolutely. That was put out before I even released the governor's letter, which I only released because he never responded. I thought I would have at least expected to say, yeah, we'll take a look at it. Or I received.
So Megyn Kelly basically goes on the record right here, and she says, that she's going to bug the governor. It's unethical when your terms of service say that you're uploading it so that you can't be compared to law enforcement kits, stuff like that. So that's why it's unethical. So you're breaking your own terms of service. So basically, like, you want to talk about stuff that could happen. These Ancestry, all these places, we can just all go and sue them. It's just, I mean, class action, that shit. Y'all want to make a couple mil? They violated their own terms of service. What do you think happens in a courtroom? Oh, nothing. I bet you that'd be a problem. So, like, criminally, no, they just unethically did it. They told their consumers, hey, you can submit your DNA. We don't just go and give this to law enforcement. Okay. As easily as you could be exonerated with DNA, you can be wrongfully convicted with DNA. Because, sorry, but just because my touch DNA is somewhere does not mean I fucking killed anybody. Could be a lot of reasons. Like, of course, my DNA would be, at my boyfriend's or girlfriend's or in somebody's car that I was driving in, or but I think it's more for me when you want to talk about if people are willing to do that type of stuff and they don't have a problem with it, that tells me everything I need to know about your character as a person. And that would go same for like law enforcement, the people that don't care. Oh wait, how did you go about this? Wait, you know a loophole? And okay, well, teach me how to use that loophole so we can start doing it ourselves. These are people that are supposed to be, upholding not only the law, but they're supposed to be in a totally different class of a human being that, shows extraordinary character. And so that's my issue. Once you start cheating and cutting corners, then people know that you can be bought. Again, thank you for that. Good morning, Gorge. Woo! Thank you guys for the gifted memberships to the community. That's awesome. I'm gonna be rounding this out. I wanted to keep it right at an hour, but I wanted you guys to hear the timeline. Thank you for doing that with the gifted memberships. That's awesome. I want you guys to hear this timeline, and it all centers around the Idaho case. Okay, this case is way more political than I imagined. It's all about genealogy. Okay, so go look out and see who's hardcore backing the fuck out of this genealogy stuff. Now they want to do an accredited board certification program. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go do it. I'll pay my what? You pay $5,000 or $6,000 and you go to like a school that CC Moore is running with some other people, or and you're an accredited now genealogist, but yet y'all cheat through a loophole. But you want to have a board that's all about ethics. Make that make sense. I don't think that makes sense. So, I would just personally say, yeah. And it would be would I want to save, would I want to find a killer, and knowing that I could, okay, hey, we can go use a loophole. We could see if anybody be a match in there, but like that's totally against the terms of service. Like, I wouldn't just be like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I'd be like, I'd have an issue. I'd have to you'd have to talk me into that. And that would come later on. I'd be like, no, okay, let's do it the right way. And then we can come back to that. You know what I mean? But if you believe that there's a serial killer out on the loose and that people, I mean, he's going to strike again and stuff, well, then maybe you should have told your community that. Because I was told it was a targeted, isolated incident. So I don't think that's going to happen again. But like, it would just, it's an ethical thing. It's a moral thing. But if this all gets out, and it will, how many people are going to be submitting their DNA? How many people are going to be submitting their DNA knowing that their kids are getting in trouble when they're growing up? Okay. And little things are happening. Like, you go and submit your DNA, you're like, just to find out where the hell you came from. No one's going to care about that when it's talking about, oh, hey, they're using this to, get your kids, get your cousins, get your aunts, get your uncles. Just think about all of that. I know I wouldn't have submitted it before, and I sure as shit ain't submit nothing now. And I tell people, I'm like, you're an idiot. You have no idea who the hell can get their hands on that. Again, just my personal opinion. But Megyn Kelly said she's going to give the governor hell.
Still? Get nothing.
Still hasn't responded?
No.
I'm
And
going to follow up with him.
I'm not asking him to, apologize to us for the faulty performance of the Colorado justice system. I don't want that. I just want to do the right thing. This is what can be done. You need to do it.
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to follow up with his office and find out what is his response. And we'll stay on it, and we'll annoy him to the point where he's going to have to respond. Because I know a lot of people in media who would be very happy to help me annoy him.
I would love
John,
that.
It's the Christmas and holiday season, and it is time for gift giving, parties with friends.
Okay, so there you go. IgG is investigative genetic genealogy, for those that were asking in chat. I'm surprised that nobody knows that if they're following the Brian Kohlberger case. This is what everything... So tomorrow is a big hearing, allegedly a big hearing. No idea what they're having a hearing about, because I just feel like there's so many motions that are just pending. It's like, is Judge going to make any decisions? So no idea. But the big thing for me, and the only thing I care about at this moment with all of that is are they going to have to turn over the work that has to do with everything surrounding the IgG, the investigative genetic genealogy, that the tip Brian Kohlberger, that name, how you got there? Is that protected or is it not protected? That's all I want to know. Is it protected, or is the defense going to get it? Do you guys think it's discovery? Should it be protected? They want to protect everybody because they are labeling everybody as a confidential informant. Anybody that's, was used to get to Brian Kohlberger means of a working paper trail. So what do you think is going to happen? That's all and then the dates. You want the dates on this stuff. Okay. What is the date of when that came in? What is the date of these emails when you would have been contacting labs and the chain, the custody? So and let's say that Brian Kohlberger is guilty. Okay, I believe in innocent until proven guilty. But let's say that he is guilty. Did Brian Kohlberger act alone? There's other unknown male DNA in that house, and they didn't do anything with it. Do you understand that? Where was it located? Why wasn't anything done with it? Especially when you see that 4 people were murdered in such a small period of time. Do you think that there could have been multiple killers? So, but the first part of the also you have a bunch of stuff going on with it's a motion to dismiss, guys. They're dismissing. They're trying to get this whole thing dismissed based off of all the shit that has happened. Okay, all the stuff with the grand jury. They're trying to get all of that tossed. Okay. There's no cameras. It's open to the public the second half. Truth and Transparency's got boots on the ground there. We'll let you know what we can find. But I don't think anything should be behind closed doors. But that's just me. Until next time, guys, be kind to one another. Peace.